Hello coders, welcome to my channel Coding 101 with Steve. In this video, we will be learning PyMongo. We are going to learn what is PyMongo and why do we use it. And then we will be learning how to use PyMongo in your Python application. So let's get started. PyMongo is a Python package. This package contains tools or functions for interacting with MongoDB database from Python. So you can perform different operations on MongoDB using the functions of this package, such as the CRUD operations, that is, creating the database, collections, documents, and also reading, updating, inserting, or deleting the data. Using this package, you can connect your Python application to a MongoDB database. So if I have a MongoDB database and I want to access it from my Python application, then I will have to use PyMongo. So now we will be learning how to use PyMongo in Python. As we learned before that PyMongo is a Python package which we use to interact with MongoDB database. So that means we will require a MongoDB database, or else what are we going to connect to, right? So let me just tell you quickly, there are two ways in which you can have a MongoDB database. One is that you install MongoDB into your system, follow all the steps, and set the username, password, host, port number, everything, and you make the setup ready. And then you can connect to it from the Python application. And the second way is that you can create a free hosted MongoDB database using MongoDB Atlas. MongoDB Atlas is a global cloud database service that is fully managed by the team behind MongoDB. So it's a fully managed cloud database where you just need to log in and within few clicks your database is ready. Let's go ahead and learn to use PyMongo. The very first step is to install and import the PyMongo Python package. Why do we need to install it? There is some code in that package which we need in order to interact with the MongoDB database. And the problem is we don't have that code into our system. That is why we have to install the package and then include it into our code. So now you need to pay attention and listen to me carefully. To install the PyMongo package, we will use the command pip install pymongo. Pip install pymongo. Enter. Successfully install PyMongo 4.0. Now once we have installed it, we need to import or we need to include it into our code. Import PyMongo. That's how you include the package inside your project or application. And you save it. And by this, we have completed our first step, that is to install and import the PyMongo package. As we finish the first step, now we are going ahead on to the second step. The second step is that you need to create a MongoDB client. As I told you before that this package PyMongo contains tools or functions that we will be using to interact with MongoDB database. So there is a function or there is a class inside this package called Mongo client. We will be creating the instance of this class. As I said, we'll create a client, and to use the function or the class of this package, we'll do pymongo.mongoclient. You see that? I've just created an instance of this class. I've created a MongoDB client. So in this function, we will have to pass a connection string. Okay, let me just write it. Connection string. Okay, creating a variable, and inside this I will put my connection string. And this connection string, I will have to pass it to this function. And then the connection will be established. Okay. If I call this without passing any connection string, then this will connect to the default host and the port, which is your local host, and the port is 27017. That's the default port number. Or else also you can pass the host in this first parameter, and in second parameter you can just pass the port number, and you can get connected to that host and port number. But now we have a connection string already, okay, and I will be passing it. I will show you from where I'm going to get this connection string. As I told you that we will be using MongoDB Atlas, so I'll just show you how to get the connection string from MongoDB Atlas. Okay, I already have created a database inside this. We have to click on connect and then choose your application. You need to connect your application, right? We want to connect it through my application. So from here they will be giving me a connection string. There you go. You can select it for different languages. You see C, C++, Java, Node.js. But yeah, we have Python over here. Python, and the version I prefer 3.4 or later. Now we need to do two things. Just read this. They said replace the password with the password for the username, and then replace my first database with the name of the database. Okay, so I have to replace this with my username, this with my password, and this with the database that I am going to use. And after copying it, just come here and I will be pasting the connection string here. Okay, so my database, I will change it. Where is it? Okay, my first database, I'm going to change it to my apps, and my username and password is, oh, I'm not supposed to share that, right? So I just type it in. Okay, I have entered my username and password. I have entered the database name, and I think we are good to go. Now I will be passing this connection string to this Mongo client, and just to make sure that nothing goes wrong, we will just put a try catch in this, or a try except. Okay, so accept exception and this, and now I am going to save this. I've just put a try catch or a try except. It will try to run this, and then if it gets any exception, if it gets any error, it will catch it in this. It will come in this exception part, and it will print for me what the error was. That's how I'm going to run this. Okay, to run Python, and what's the file name? File name is PyMongo. There you go, enter. If we are not getting anything, that means we are able to connect it successfully. Let's see what happens. Bingo. Yes, we are able to connect to our database successfully. Congratulations. We just learned how to connect to a database using PyMongo. Okay, coders. So now that we have established a connection to the MongoDB database, we will see some CRUD operations. So now we will learn how to create a database. The step 3 will be create a database, or a DB. Now we will use this client to create our database. So I can say my DB. I'm just giving a name. You can give it any name. I'll use this client and give here the name of my database. It can be anything. Let's say PyMongo demo. That's it. By this line, we have created the database into which we will store our document, and I'll save it. Okay. You can also list out the databases that are there inside your MongoDB. So to do that, I'll just print and show you. We will use the client again and list database names. There you go. I'll just print this, okay, when we run. So what we'll get is the databases that are already present. So I'll save this, and I'll come here and I'll run. Okay. So I got there is a database called my app underscore DB. There is admin, there is local. These three databases are there. You might wonder, we just created a database name called PyMongo underscore demo. But why is it not present in the list? Yes, don't worry, that's not an error. It works that way. I'll tell you. The database that you created will never show up unless and until there is a document inside that. Okay, so the database should have a record inside it in order to list it. Only then you can see that the database is created, and we will see that. So for now, let me just comment this, and we finish creating our database. Now step 4, create a collection. If you don't know what collection is, if you're familiar with MySQL, if you're familiar with the relational database, then collection is equivalent to tables, where the data is stored into rows and columns. Okay, so that's similar to collections. So we will create a table inside our database. So to do that, this time we will use the database as the reference. Okay, and using this reference, we will create our collection. So I'll write my collection, and then I'll use my DB. The way we created a database, same way we have to create the collection. Whatever name you can give, I'll give demo collection. Okay, yeah, now after this, when we execute this, our collection also will be created. But still our database won't be showing up because, as I said, it requires a document inside it or a record inside it. If you want, we can just check it. Again, I'll save this, I'll go here, run the command, enter. You see, still the same result. Okay, so I'll comment this. Now, the next step is step 5, create a document. Create a document. Now, the document or record that we store into a MongoDB database is in JSON format. So I hope you all know what is a JSON format. So we will create a document in JSON format. This will be my doc, and I'll show you. This is how JSON format is. I'll write a key that is basically key value pairs. Okay, so the key is name, and the value against this key is my name Steve, and maybe I'll give another key saying message and give the value as this is PyMongo demo. Bingo, we have created our document. So coders, by this we finished the C part of CRUD operation. We created a database, we created a collection, and we also created a document. But still, the database is not going to show up. For that, we will have to insert this document into our database, into the collection, which is into this database. The next step is insert the document. Okay, here we are going to use another tool or a function of this PyMongo package. How to insert a document? Just think about this. Where you have to insert the document? Inside the collection, right? So which reference should we use to insert the document? The collection object, right? So we'll do that. We'll say my collection, and as I put a period, we get a method called insert1. Insert1 basically means that you want to insert only one record. And if you want to insert multiple records, okay, then we use insert underscore many. Since we have only one record, we are just going to use insert1, and we need to pass the document to this method. So I'll pass the document, that is my doc. The insert1 method will return a result. That result will have an inserted ID. That is a specific ID that you give to each record. MongoDB by default gives a specific ID to a record. It's going to return a result in which one property would be inserted ID, By that you will also come to know that the record has been successfully inserted. We'll do this. So whatever this will return, it will come in this, and in this we can get the the inserted ID. Let me just see if we can do that. See, okay, I'll show you that also. Print. Okay, we'll just print the inserted ID, and also we'll print the database names. So then you will come to know that the database has been successfully created because the record has been inserted. Okay, this is just a unique ID. If you don't want the by default ID, then you can just you can just do like this: ID key, maybe say 1. Yeah, so by this the inserted ID will be 1 itself, and if you don't put this, then the inserted ID will be some unique ID which MongoDB will give it by default. So as for now, we'll just execute it like that. I'll save this. So now we will run the file and let's check what we get. We are expecting some ID into this, some unique value over here, and we are expecting that we will see PyMongo underscore demo in this list. Okay, so let me run this, and there you go. This is the unique ID that MongoDB has by default given, and this is the database that is created, and this is the record that is inserted into the database. If you're learning something from this video, then please do not forget to subscribe to my channel in order to be notified about my latest videos. We finished creating a database, creating a collection, creating a document. We saw how to insert a document into the database, and now we are going to read the document that we have inserted. So the next step number 7, reading the document. Okay, so now how to read the document? See, the document is always present inside the collection, so we always have to use the collection object. Because in the start I used to get little confused between which one to use. Should I use client? Should I use my DB? Should I use collection? What to use? But yeah, when you understand logically, then you will not be confused. So we'll use my collection. We'll just give it the name as record. We'll use again as my collection as the object, and you'll see there is something called as find underscore 1. This means that find 1 is going to return to you the very first document, the latest document which is updated inside the database. Whichever is on the top, you'll get that. Now when we print this, before executing this program, we need to be careful because everything is going to execute again. So if everything executes again, that means it will again create a document, correct? And it will again insert. That means there would be replication, and that's a problem. If this code executes again, then you notice that it is going to create a document again, it is going to insert it again. You see? So we'll have to comment it. Okay, we don't need this now. And by the way, don't worry, this is not going to create the collection again. If there is a collection already present, then it will just refer to that. Now I think we should save this. We will run the file. Yes. So we got the data. You see, the record, we got it. We got this ID. You see the name. This is the message. This is PyMongo demo. So that's the record that we had inserted inside the database. We were successfully able to read the data. If you have learned and understood till here, then I would like to applaud and give you a thumbs up. Let's move to step number 8. So the step 8 is updating the record that we have inserted. Now so you might think, what is the difference between inserting a record and updating a record? Let me tell you. In update, we do not insert a new record. We just update the existing record. Whereas in insert, we insert a new record into the database. So that's the basic difference. I'll just show you. New record equal to my collection. This time we'll use update 1. Now this function or this method takes two parameters. First is a query and the second one is new value. The first parameter is the query object that defines which document to update, and the second parameter is the object that defines the new value for the document. So I'll create a query object, a dictionary, and now we need to show which record we want to update, and the record is message. What is the message that we had given? This is PyMongo demo. I'll copy that, I'll paste it over here. Okay, so my query is that record which has a message key with a value. This is PyMongo demo. And now the other parameter is new value. Again, I'll create a dictionary, and over here I'll show you this $set. This is a built-in key which we use to set a new value to the record, and this also has a dictionary. The key would be same, the key has to be same, and now I will change the value to, instead of this is PyMongo demo, I will put welcome to coding 101 with Steve. So this is my new message that I want to set. Okay, so I've defined the two parameters and I'm passing it to this function update 1, and we'll just read the document again after we update it. So I'll copy this, I'll paste it over here. This is reading the document after updating. Reading the document after updating. Okay, I'm reading it and then again printing it. So now I will save this and let's hope we get good results. So let's see. Python. Whoa, what just happened? This was my previous record which had message this is PyMongo demo. After that we printed the new record again, and now this time the message is changed. Welcome to coding 101 with Steve. Wow, we just updated this message. Congratulations. That's how you update a record into your database. Good news is that we have reached the last step of this lesson, and that step, I think it's number 9, is to delete the record. That's the final step. Now we want to delete the record. Now again we'll use my collection. Then this time we have another method called delete1, and this method takes one parameter, that is your query. In order to know which record to delete, I'll just name it as query underscore del. Okay, now we need to delete where key is the name and value is Steve. That's the record that we want to delete. Query underscore delete. I'll paste this here. Again, we'll have to read the document after deleting it. So I'll paste it here. But yes, before executing, we'll have to comment all this because we don't want to update again, right? So from here till here, list out the database names and then the record. After that, delete the record where the name is Steve and then again print the record. I think this is good. We'll save it and execute. Whoa, see, we got none. So this was the record before we deleted it, and after deleting, we got none. That means we have successfully deleted the record. So coders, we just completed all the CRUD operations, that is creating, reading, updating, deleting, including inserting. In my upcoming videos, we'll see how to create a database on MongoDB Atlas, and we'll also explore the other methods or functions in detail and maybe create a desktop application. So I'll see you in my next video. Thank you so much for watching.